This year's general election in the UK started as a very, very boring and predictable election, but now it's getting exciting with the rise of Reform UK and Nigel Farage. But it's not just that, because we have a first past the post system, which means that things could still technically, theoretically change. Now, let's not get crazy optimistic, but this is just based on the numbers that we have. And actually, thanks to the latest research and the reports that have come out, and I'm going to give you another example as well, the Labour Party could be in trouble. Let's not forget, it's not really just about the popular vote, it's about the marginal seats. And I'm not really claiming they're not going to get a majority, but 34,000 swing voters in key marginal seats could actually halve the Labour Party's supermajority. But when you look at the overall vote in the country, 132,000 voters. So you only need 132,000 people, that's nothing, to change their mind, to not vote Labour, and that could prevent a Labour majority. So you could actually end up with a hung parliament, which means Labour and the Lib Dems will have to go into some sort of partnership or coalition, or Labour could still govern as a minority. So things could still definitely change. And potentially, if everybody moves from Labour, the 132,000 people, to Reform, you can actually potentially even have some sort of Reform Tory opposition, or maybe even just Reform opposition. But obviously, they're still going to get only a few seats anyway. But that's not really the point of this. We had in 2015 general election, the Tories got, I think it was a majority of 12 seats. And back then I was part of the Tory party, if you guys remember. Some of you guys, I used to be young and naive. And I was part of the campaign. After the campaign, we were all celebrating. And the Tory party, the central machine, CCHQ, at that victory party, they stopped Linton Crosby, who was in charge. And they did a presentation and a speech. And they said, they showed the numbers. Even though everybody was like, well, we got a majority of 12 or whatever we got. But only about 900 votes. Only 900 people around the country, if they had not voted Tory, that majority wouldn't have existed. So you always look at the number of seats. You look at, but these guys got 200 seats or 300 seats or 150 seats. It's not really just about that. It's about those marginal seats. And in this election, almost every seat is a marginal seat. It's all about the marginal seats. A few people in each seat changing their mind, it could genuinely change the whole election. Same thing happened in 2017 against Theresa May when she lost that majority to Jeremy Corbyn. Now, she still had the largest party, she survived. Now, the Labour Party sources come out to tell the Times that the election is far from decided, and there's a real danger that the wild poll predictions play into the Tories' hands, suppressing turnout. We know the country wants change, but change will only come if people vote Labour. It's clear that staying at home or voting one of the smaller parties runs the risk of waking up on the 5th of July to 5 more years of chaos under the Tory government. Now, that's not going to happen. What could happen is hung parliament. So the Tory party's narrative is Labour Party has won, so that Labour voters stay at home. Labour Party's narrative is come out to vote, because if you don't, you get a Tory government. I mean, that's not really the case, because you're not going to get a Tory government, you're just going to get home parliament, because Labour will still be the largest party. But it's interesting to think about these things over the next week or so.